Sea Milk,
Yes?
we're talking about dating girls, advice for dating Chinese girls, I should say.
Now, I wanted to do this outside and walk around, but it can't because it's freaking pouring rain out. We are soaked. We are literally, all of our stuff is hanging out to dry, as you can see in this hotel room, which, by the way, is a really nice hotel room.
It is, and I felt so bad when we came in because, you know, it was torrential downpours.
Right.
And as I walked into the lobby, I was dripping like black ink because, you know, like the dye from my jacket, because I treat this jacket, I've had it since I was like 19 actually.
Right.
So I use that like shoe polish, you know, that magic brush stuff to make it look all nice, but then that comes out.
Right. Well, either way, we got this for like $80, and I could actually live here.
It's so good.
It's like a cool loft apartment or something. Anyway,
it's awesome.
We're talking about advice for dating Chinese girls. Now, I've covered this on my channel. You've covered this on your channel. We've covered this on ADV. But the reason I bring this up is because a Chinese woman from Chinese state media put out an article about advice for dating Chinese girls. Now,
is this advice
for Westerners?
For Westerners, so for foreigners. Okay.
Now, we are no strangers to having state media smear us, and we've had a very, very vindictive Chinese woman take care of you in the Global Times in the past.
Yeah, it's bloody awful.
I have a video about that, actually.
We
on
do.
ADV. But we're going to go through her advice, and not to make fun of it, but to actually
to see if it's accurate.
See if
because
it's accurate.
Like,
I haven't read this,
on,
by the way.
Yeah, based on our experience, because, you know, before both of us were married, we did date several other Chinese girls, and we know a lot of friends who date Chinese girls, so we've heard the stories, we've seen what's going on.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. Now, this is what it says. You ready?
Yeah.
Number 1. She accepts to go out on a date with you. If you like a Chinese woman, there's only one sure way to know if she likes you back, and that is to ask her out on a date. If she accepts, then there might be some good chances for you. Things to do while on a date with a Chinese woman. Let's start with this, right?
Well, hang on. Just that, like, if she accepts to go, I think that's pretty universal.
Yeah. You know, usually...
No,
you know why?
Why?
Because this is from a Chinese lens, right?
Okay.
Of course, a normal Western guy is going to be like, well, she said no. A Chinese guy is going to keep going. He's going to buy her a bigger teddy bear next time. He's going to put on this display. And there's a thing that Chinese men do before they even go on a first date, and that's called biao bai.
Yes, biao bai.
So they light the candles, you know, spelling her name.
We did a thing about Chinese Valentines Day, so you can watch it. We explain some of that stuff. But you're absolutely right. And a lot of the times they'll continue to pursue and try to buy them like an iPhone or something, you know, just to...
If they have money,
if they have money,
Yeah, so like that's... I can see why she had that piece of advice. It does not really pertain to
guys,
us.
if a girl doesn't want to go out on a date with you, that means you probably, you know, just stop there.
Now, this is her advice when you're on the date. Ready?
Okay, right.
Number 1, be sure to plan a good date where you think she will enjoy. Really?
Yeah,
shit. Okay. I was going to take her to go watch a destruction derby.
Maybe, let's go, I don't know, go dig for worms in the dirt.
Yeah, that sounds romantic as hell.
Anyway.
Be a gentleman by opening doors for her, picking her up from her place, etc.
Okay, I mean, this is something that Chinese women still appreciate.
Right.
And I have to say, it's something that I get really pissed off about, because I do believe in chivalry, personally,
me too. Yeah.
And I always like to treat my wife or my girlfriend, you know, with respect, and I open doors and things like that. But these days in the West, there's a pushback against that. Even when I was still dating back in South Africa, you'd get girls who'd be like, "Think I can't open the door myself? What are you? Think I'm weaker than you?" You know, that kind of thing.
I never dated girls like that, but I know they exist.
I was just like, well, you know, just take a bloody hike. It's like, if you're going to moan about that kind of stuff, just imagine the rest of your life's just going to be
bad, right? Be prepared to pay for the date, depending on if she offers to pay for her own. I think this is another one of those things. I feel like I've never not paid for a date with a woman. Even when I was a teenager, I always paid for everything. But I get that. If like you come from a place where a woman maybe would be offended by that, no one in China is going to be offended by that. You have to pay for the date. So
I've actually heard stories, you know, like one of my ex-girlfriends, she had a friend, and we were all out having a meal, and she was complaining that she dated a Spanish guy or something, and he would insist that the meals bill was always split, and it was a big turnoff for her. So I think Chinese girls, in fact, we all know Chinese girls expect
that's what I just said.
Like,
it's a necessity.
You have to, so don't skimp out.
Chinese women are known to be blunt and direct, so if all goes well, and she says that she enjoyed the date and wants to go out with you again, then you can be sure she meant those words. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I think Chinese women can be completely indirect sometimes, and they can say, yeah, that was great. I'll see you next time, and then she starts ignoring you. So don't read that wrong. That's absolutely not true.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Number 2, she makes an effort to look pretty. Of course, every woman is pretty in their own way, but when you find out that she looks prettier when you're on a date or whatever, you're simply just hanging out with, then that means that she likes you. It's only natural for a woman to look her best whenever the man she fancies is around. Girls put a lot of effort to look extra pretty for you, so make sure you give her compliments like, your hair looks nice, or your dress suits you. Chinese girls do go further than the average in terms of gussying up for dates, that's for sure. So? Yeah, caking on the makeup, for sure, from what I've seen.
It really depends. I mean, makeup is... Maybe the reason why you say that is because makeup is not that common. You know, like, you see it right now, like, where we are now. It depends... You know, we're in Taiwan on this trip, and Taiwanese girls are a lot more sophisticated. They wear a lot more makeup.
Right.
In general, I can say most Chinese women out in public aren't wearing makeup.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
Like, you can look at all the B-roll of me going around the city, and I film...
Just daily life stuff.
Daily life, they don't wear a lot of makeup. If they do, it's very subtle.
But when there's an occasion...
Yeah, and that's why I think the reason is you're like, oh, they're gussing up, but it's, they're putting on makeup where they normally wouldn't.
The thing is, like, I've been on dates with girls that I found very attractive, like, natural beauties, like, really nice. And then they go on the date, and I'm like, holy shit, what happened? Like, they're doing that white face thing, and their neck's, like, tan, but their face is white. And... True. It's just too much, right? So I get that. Like, they're trying a little harder. It's just not a mature enough makeup culture yet. Right, for sure. Yeah. Number 3, she cares about you. One of the signs that a Chinese woman likes you is she cares about your well-being. She'll be worried if you're wearing too little clothes, if she thinks it's cold outside, or if you've eaten or not. They make sure that you're well taken care of. If you get sick, then they'll make sure to bring you some medicine or special herbal soup. You may think it's like having a second mother, but that's just them showing they care about you. Honestly, I have to agree with that. That happens way too often. Yeah. And you know what's creepy is that's when I found out that certain girls liked me that I was not into. So you'd have like a teacher's assistant or whatever, and then they'll send you a text message and they're like, where are you? And then you're like, I'm in the park or something. And they come down with like a bowl of frickin' soup, like a Tupperware container. And
or it'll be like, oh, be careful, it's cold, wear more clothes.
Wear more clothes, that's the typical thing. Yeah, when they send you those messages, they're definitely into you for sure. Number 4 is she wants to know more about you. If you like someone else, of course, you would be interested in the things about them. Same goes for Chinese women. If they like you, they'll ask personal questions about you. Yeah. When she starts asking you questions, just be honest as much as you can. If you're feeling a bit uncomfortable with her questions, tell her. They'll appreciate your honesty. Yeah. Honestly, you don't want to be completely honest. If a Chinese girl is on a date with you and she's like, how many girls have you been with? If you say like 20, like how many girls have you dated, then you can expect some serious pushback on that one. I'm not saying lie, just avoid the topic.
At the end of the day, that's private information. I don't tell that to anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, you know, I mean, I might tell you maybe, but the thing is, it's just not something that I would speak about. But there's also another problem is, just in Chinese society in general, they're far too blunt with some of the questions, and they like to dig into your personal affairs. How much money do you make? Right. You hear that on first dates. You know, like
the thing is, like the responses won't be blunt. So I am calling bullshit when she says be as honest as you can, because in China you would avoid it. You'd find a way to like derail that topic or question, right?
Talk some, answer the question with a question.
Right. Well, how much money do you make?
Yeah, exactly. I prefer to just like, oh, well, you're enjoying the food, you know. It depends on the girl, obviously. But I had this situation once, which really annoyed me, actually more than once. I took these girls over to my place. Now, this is it's not how it sounds. These were friends of mine.
Nice job, dude.
No, okay. Now, these were friends of mine. Okay. And they were friends of my housemates. So the two of us, like all 4 of us, went out for dinner. Just friends. It wasn't anything more than that. Brought them back to our place. I can't even remember what, like, we're going to watch a movie or something, you know, so it's just something just totally platonic. Anyway, the thing is, they come into the house, they start like looking around, opening up the cupboard doors. I literally went into my bedroom, opening up my sock drawers and stuff, and I'm like, what on earth are they doing? And they were like, oh, look, the toilet water's blue, because you know it does. Right, and they're not used to it. And but I was just like, this is a bit much. Going into the kitchen, opening, it's like, it's a little bit invasive. But it's kind of normal in Chinese culture.
It's also like very, very personal to allow someone into your house, and that's another thing I didn't know. So my first year, I actually was at a bar and a club, and I brought a girl home. Not to do what you think, literally just like, oh, I'm gonna stop home, maybe we can watch a movie or something, right? Yeah. But for her, she agreed to it, by the way. And when she was in there, she's like, oh, is this your brother? Oh, and she's going through like family pictures and like going through all my stuff, and like, oh, she opened my computer, my laptop and stuff, and she's like, oh, do you have any games on here, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, man, this is bad, you know? Because I didn't know it was that big of a deal.
Yeah, let's just say that Western ideas of privacy is completely incompatible with
Totally.
the Chinese way, because it's such a collective sort of society that you're kind of used to
Right.
being in everyone else's business.
Right. Yeah. They'll ask you if you have any female friends and if you're close to them. Or if you've dated anyone long term before. If you have, just be warned that Chinese women get jealous easily and are very possessive. The key is just to have patience and communicate what's bothering her. It could be challenging at first, but that's just a part of their character. Don't give her any reason to doubt you. Being jealous simply means she likes you or even loves you. That is very dangerous advice, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're entering a long-term relationship with someone that is completely jealous and untrusting, then avoid that relationship.
Don't do it. But the problem is, this is an issue with Chinese
She's
girls.
not wrong.
No. And we've spoken about this at length, but it's got to do with the fact that society is different and the whole family structure is different here. People don't just date for fun in China. It's not the same as the West.
No.
You do get a very small percentage of girls who will mess about in clubs and stuff.
Sure.
Like, in general, if it's someone you've met at work, like a teaching assistant or something, which is probably where most people would meet, or someone you've met just randomly, but, through normal means, not like in a club.
Right.
And you get into a relationship, it's probably going to be long-term. You know what I mean? They're going to treat it that way anyway. And, there's a terrible kind of a situation in China where men are not very faithful. That they're just not. But it's been like that for like thousands of years.
Sure.
It's the society here, It's the whole emperor with his concubines. It's
less so in relationships, more so after marriage.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this built-in mistrust from the get-go with Chinese girls. And they will be checking your phone when you're not looking, They will be calling you. Where are you?
And they'll freak out if you don't let them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like, where are you right now? It's like,
right.
I'm out, having a meal with my friends. Oh, send me a picture,
This is exactly the reason, and people hate when I say this, but it's exactly the reason that I say I got lucky when I met Vivi, because most of the Chinese girls I wouldn't marry.
Yeah.
The ones I dated, I didn't marry for a reason. It's because of these mistrust issues.
I've got horror stories from myself and other people because of this jealousy thing, because it gets out of hand.
Right.
And it's insulting to the guy because it means they don't trust you, obviously. Oh, it's a terrible situation. But this jealousy thing's huge.
This is oftentimes why you'll see videos all the time, Winston, I'm sure. And you see it in public as well.
Sure.
You'll see a Chinese guy kneeling down, and he's getting slapped with a handbag or something, or she's smashing his phone because something happened, and he's proving in public that he's going to be better next time.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually quite common in society here, so be very careful of the whole jealousy thing.
It's a red flag.
Yeah.
Right. Last one. She wants to meet, number 6, she wants you to meet her family. If she tells you she wants to meet her parents, then you will know she's really into you. In the Chinese dating culture and Asian culture, if you meet the family, it means that they want a serious relationship with you. If she does make statements like, I would like to introduce you to my family, you better get ready. Even if you met online or offline, you can still notice these signs. Do you notice any of these from her? If you did, then you might have something special there. Don't let that chance get away. Instead, use it to your advantage and make her fall even harder for you. Either you want to speed things up or take things slow. It's all up to you. Whoa, that got really intelligent and really scary very quickly.
Yep.
Yes, it's true.
Absolutely, yeah. When I first started dating my wife, and it just insulted me so much, is that I wanted to meet her. I knew it was going to be serious, right? I'd absolutely fallen in love with her, right? But she would be on the phone to her cousin or something, and I would be talking, and she'd be like, she didn't want her cousin to know. She didn't want her family to know that she was dating a foreigner. She wouldn't introduce me to them. She'd be like, I'm going to meet my cousin later on. And I'd be like, cool, well, I'd like to meet her. She sounds cool. She's like, no, I don't want them to know that I'm dating a foreigner. And it's like, how insulting is that?
一模一样 with my situation is exactly the same. Hiding me. I was a hidden secret for years.
Yeah, hidden secrets.
But seriously, it was insulting. But then when that actually comes out, like if a girl does say that, I want you to meet my parents, that means it's basically a female proposal.
Well, I mean, it literally only happened after I had proposed and we were going to be getting married is when I was finally introduced to the family.
That's normal, actually.
Yeah.
Chinese girls do the same thing. Like Vivi had a 2-year period where she's like, I don't know, how do I want to tell them? You know what I mean?
Tell them? Yeah,
right.
It's kind of like a shameful secret or something.
And it sucks. But that's how it is. But I'm going to debunk her last piece of advice.
Yeah.
Do not use that to your advantage, like speed things up or something. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
You need to talk to her and say, are we actually going to do this? Because I know what this means in Chinese culture, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If they drop those kind of hints.
We're a bit of a special case, right? We've both lived in China for over a decade each. You know, we've had a lot of experience. We can both speak Chinese fairly well.
This helps a lot.
This helps a huge amount. But for your average Joe, the cultural differences are going to be massive, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for you to pull this relationship off, you know? So, like, reading a little column like this is not going to prepare you.
No. Hopefully it puts you in the right mindset of things to look out for.
Absolutely.
But I've said this from day one, and this is the biggest, like, kind of disappointment for some people is I never would, and I don't recommend someone looking for a female companion based on their race.
Sure.
Or their heritage or where they're from, right?
Yeah.
You have to keep these warning signs in mind, and you have to be very careful and make sure you're getting into a healthy relationship that's not this doe-eye, we love each other because, you know, we have body language or something.
The language of love
Right.
doesn't need, you know, what did I say? We don't need
I don't need to
language.
understand her, right?
That's garbage. You know,
Right.
we all know that's garbage. Just, anyway.
Yeah.
The thing is, we still know that it's possible and don't want to completely discourage you, but go forewarned.
Right.
You know.
Well, we don't want you to be disappointed or have a bad time.
Sure.
Right?
So anyway, anything you'd like to tell our subscribers before we sign off?
Whether you read like BuzzFeed articles for dating advice or you listen to people like us that have been through it all multiple times.
Sure.
I hope you liked the video. Let me know down below what's your experience with your wife/husband. How did you guys meet? And what barriers did you face?
Yeah.
If you like the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already.
You know, a lot of our subscribers have actually said that the things we talk about when it comes to Chinese girls, they can relate if they're married to Thai or Filipinos.
Oh,
or,
interesting.
You know,
Okay.
other Asian cultures,
right.
Japanese too, even.
Right.
Because a lot of the sort of Asian cultures share a lot of similarities.
Sure.
You know, so you could probably take this advice and apply it to
Asian.
You know,
countries.
so yeah, if you're one of those Thai, Filipino type chasers, you know, whatever.
Please
Anyway.
don't be a chaser.
No, well, you know what I mean. Yeah. And it applies for women as well, you know, trying to date
Oh, for
Western,
sure.
Western men.
Honestly, all this stuff that we're talking about could apply to a white female trying to
Yeah.
pursue or date Chinese men.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They put up with, in fact, white women have to deal with a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's harder. It's much harder, you know.
That's
It's a lot-
another topic for
Yeah,
another
we'll
time.
do that another time, but we'll have to get some more white women that,
Right.
you know, are in, you know, relationships with Asian men.
Sure.
They're kind of rare for some reason, but we have them. We know them. We know them. We're gonna find them. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So whether you're into people of your own kind or like us, dirty race mixers, we love you all the same.
Guilty as charged.
So until next time, you know the drill. Stay awesome.
When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs.